That we're going to be here in 10 years' time. What I know is that in 10 years' time, Mkhonto Wesizwe will not be existing. Live 10 years, in less than 10 years, there won't be an organization called Mkhonto Wesizwe in South Africa. We thought that time that maybe let us constitute a different movement to fight for economic freedom in our lifetime. In the beginning, it's begun well, but with time, those that we founded the EFF with began to adopt mannerisms and habits not dissimilar from the ANC. And what are those habits and mannerisms? Is to chase tenders desperately. Desperately. It's want to get rich desperately or die trying. Where to the extent that when EFF began to be involved in government, you find the leadership telling those who are deployees of the EFF in government that if you don't deliver millions here to me, it means you are not serious about leadership. And then some of us had to associate with that. We said, we'll never associate with that. Where government deployees of an opposition party with less than 10% start bragging about siphoning off money of government, millions of rands. And they see nothing wrong with that. And then, of course, they will say it's fundraising for the movement. But if you check the lifestyle and everything else that they gain out of that, that is no longer a revolution. There was no way. And we never chose to wage factional battles against that. We just say, this thing in any way, under this misguidance, it will not go anywhere. In any way, the people of South Africa had begun to see that it looks like we have created another problem here. Hence, lesser and lesser number of people began to give it votes. Because they realized that this is not dissimilar from this nonsense that we have been trying to remove from power. And genuinely, comrades, because we thought that there's a scope to could shape a different movement, we went to MK with the view that will shape a different perspective. But Mkhonto Wesizwe is struggling to become an organization. It's struggling to become an organization, and it will not be an organization. At least majority of us are here now, and I'm sure in Jesus' name that we're going to be here in 10 years' time. What I know is that in 10 years' time, Mkhonto Wesizwe will not be existing. Live 10 years, in less than 10 years, there won't be an organization called Mkhonto Wesizwe in South Africa. It doesn't have the capacity, it does not have the fortitude, ideologically, spiritually, organizationally, to could outlive its current problems. And that is a given. So those who are thinking that there will be an organization called Mkhonto Wesizwe for the next 10 years are wasting their time. Hence, we are starting this process of constituting an organization that is going to be a true representative of all our people. Comrades, we have picked up a lot of very worrying issues, and we want to add to the voices that we should end the discrimination on the basis of age on who must get a job. Jobs must be given to everyone irrespective of age, even those who are above the age of 35. It must not be discriminated. And that is the struggle that we are going to take up and fight alongside all the people of South Africa, that everyone, whether above the age of 35, must be given jobs. But we need to create jobs for everyone. We need to create jobs for everyone. One of the comrades spoke here about that in the homelands, in the rural areas, we used to have factories. Do you know when the apartheid government was struggling now with a huge number of black people in their areas? So in the early 1980s, 1981, 1982, not very far from here in Good Hope, they had, in Goodwood, they had conferences called the Good Hope Conferences. Those Good Hope Conferences was meant to decentralize industrialization in South Africa. And then they made all the homelands to be tax-free. They gave a lot of infant industrial protection to factories that were going to invest in rural areas. That is how Umtata got to have industries. That is how Twatwa in the Free State got to have industries. That is how Giyani in Gazankulu used to have industries. That is how Toyando, Sibasa, and Venda